In question number 8, we are told that we shall look at gradient equations of a straight line. We are going to see possible ways you can be able to approach every sort of question that appears in this topic. So I've put questions together which are going to give a picture of what you expect in exam. Either you can get a question like part A, you can get a question like part B, you can get a question like question 9, and as we proceed. In A, we are told find the equation of a straight line through the point -5, 7 and 1, 3. In order to work this question, first you need to find the gradient. You need to know that gradient of a straight line is given by the equation m equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, this y2 and y1 and x2, x1 is you to decide which part of the coordinate that are given here are going to be x1, y1 or x2, y2. Now, in this case, I'm going to decide and use this 3 minus 7, meaning my y2 is 3, y1 is 7, and 1 minus -5. So I just subtract, I'm getting -4, 6, which means that I can be able to simplify this further to -2 over 3. And in this case, I'd let this to be x1, y1, and x2, y2, the second coordinate. Once you have the gradient, the next step is to write the expression that can enable you find the equation of a straight line. For you to find the equation of a straight line, you need to use this expression, y minus y1. You can use any of the two coordinates given there, equals to m, where m is the gradient, into x minus x1. So our y1 is what? Is 7, and x1 is -5, and our gradient is -2 over 3. So we can now go straight and substitute everything that we have here, so that we can open the bracket and simplify it further. So we shall take -7 on the other side of the equal sign to be a positive, so that if we simplify this, we are going to get our answer as y equals to -2 over 3x plus 11 over 3. And we're going to transfer this here so that we can be able to get our final answer. And if you are new here, consider subscribing and turn the notification bell. Like this video and also leave a comment down below so that anytime I upload a video, the next part of this you'll be notified. Part B, find the equation of a line whose gradient is 4 and it passes through a point 3, -4. So in this question now, we are not going to find the gradient because it's already given. So we're going to move to the step whereby we are writing the expression that can enable us to find the equation. Like we said from the previous question, for you to find the equation of a straight line, you need to use this expression, which is y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. So our case here, we're going to say y minus -4, because in the y coordinate that is given here is -4, equals to 4 into, that is the gradient, x minus 3. We can simplify this further and take 4 on the other side. Because it's a positive, it will be a minus, and then our answer becomes y equals to 4x minus 16 as the equation that is required. Question 9 is dealing with how to find equations of lines which are parallel to a given line. Something that is very paramount and important at this point is you to understand that parallel lines, if two lines are parallel, it means they have the same gradient. And from the equation that is given here, you can be able to identify the gradient. So let us go ahead and we are going to say, let us first note this, parallel lines have same gradient. So therefore, the gradient of this equation that we're given here is 3. So the gradient of this line is 3, and it means that the other line is also going to have the gradient what? 3. Because if you are given a line like this, and you are supposed to understand that this part represents the gradient, this part here represents C, which is the y-intercept. And since we have our gradient and we are finding the equation of a line which is parallel to this, we're going to pick the gradient 3, which is the same as the gradient of the other line that we're finding the equation. So we are going to use that gradient and the 0.17, and we shall now write the general equation of finding the equation of a straight line, which is y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. And substituting everything that we have there and taking 7 on the other side of the equal sign, it becomes positive. Simplifying this further becomes what? Y equals to 3x plus 4 as our final answer. Now we have part B. Apart from being given questions like this, if you look at the equation that is given here, x plus 2y equals to 6 is not written in the standard form. We know a standard form of equation is usually y equals to mx plus c. This is the standard way of writing an equation so that you can be able to pick your gradient as m and the y-intercept as c. It therefore means we are going to rearrange that equation so that it's in this format in order for us to be able to identify a few things. So if we divide by 2 all through, we are going to remove negative a half x plus 3. So now this is the standard form of the equation that is given. Then from this form or standard form, we can be able to identify the gradient as negative 2 and use the coordinate 4, 6, which is our x1, y1, which we shall use in the equation here and find the equation of a straight line, which means this is going to be y minus 6 equals to negative a half into x, x minus 4, so that we can be able to open the brackets and put the like terms together. So we are going to take this to be a positive, and our final answer becomes y equals to negative a half x plus 8. Let me just move this so that I can be able to space and our work will be well arranged like that. I believe you are getting value, you are learning something. Now I want us to look at another set of questions that you can be asked, and this is where you are told to find the equation of a line which is perpendicular to another line. Just like we said in parallel lines, we can be able to find the gradient. Also, the lines that were given here, like for instance, y equals to 2x minus 3, this step or that equation that is provided there is to enable you know the gradient of this line. And using the gradient of this line too, you can be able to find the gradient of the line which is perpendicular to this. I want you to understand that. Then now we are going to look at it keenly. If you have two lines, if you have line L1 which is perpendicular to another line L2, so they meet at 90 degrees. That's what we mean by perpendicular lines. And something that is very important that comes out here is that the gradient of L1, we can call it M1, and the gradient of L2, we can call it M2. So the product of the two gradients is equal to -1. So anytime you have perpendicular lines, the gradient of those perpendicular lines, if you multiply them, if two lines are perpendicular, if you know their gradient, if you multiply them, you will get the answer -1. That is a relation that we are going to use throughout this section. Which means if you know the gradient of one line, you can be able to find the other one. Now, for instance, here we know the gradient of this line that was given is 2. So we can say 2 times m2 equal to -1. Then we'll be able to find the gradient of the other line. Let's go ahead and use this relation in order to find the equation of that line. So first, we need to identify the gradient of this line is what? M1, and that is we are finding M2. So 2 times M2 equals to -1. We are saying 2 times M2. We are finding the gradient of the other line, which is M2. But our M1 gradient is obtained. We pick it from the equation that was provided. So we are going to say this is going to be M2 is going to be -1/2. If you take -1/2 times 2, we're going to get -1. So the gradient of the line that we are finding is -1/2, which passes through 6, 1. So we're going to say the gradient here, -1/2, and the point where that line passes is 6, 1. Then we can be able to use this. How do we use it? We are going to use the equation that we said we use when finding equation of a straight line, which is y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. Then substituting -1/2, 6, and 1 here, we are going to get this resulting to what? -1/2 x plus 4, like that. So this is the equation of a line which is perpendicular to y equals to 2x minus 3. Part B, I would like you to try it out. But you see, in part B, you are given an equation, but that equation is not in the standard form. What are you expected to do in such kind of a case? You have to rearrange that equation first. 2x minus 3y equals to 12. You rearrange it so that it becomes in standard format before using it. Just try it out, and you'll check with me if you got the correct answer. Leave a comment down below the answer you got. Go ahead, yeah, continue. Right, first step, let's check. You are going to rearrange this equation in the standard format, y equals to mx plus c. So we shall say this is going to be y equals to mx plus c. That's what we want. Then we need now to take that one on the other side to be a positive, so we shall have minus 2x plus 12. It was positive, so once it goes on the other side, we're going to have -2x. But remember, 3y is a negative, that's why it's remaining there. Next, we're going to divide all through by -3, and then this will be y equals to positive 2 over 3x minus 4. Now, this is the equation that was given. So the gradient of this line here is, the gradient of this line is 2 over 3. So for us to find the gradient of the other line, which is perpendicular to this, we're going to say m1 times m2 equals to -1, which is going to be 2 over 3 times m2 equals to -1. We shall multiply both sides by 3 so that we get rid of the fraction. We remain with 2m2 equals to -3, divide by 2 both sides, and our m2 now therefore becomes -3 over 2, which is the same as 1.5. Then now we are going to use the gradient that we have obtained and the coordinate that were given, substitute them into the general equation of finding equation of a straight line, so that we can be able to obtain our answer. Taking -3 on the other side, first let me just take this and reduce it so that we can have enough space. We shall have y equals to -3 over 2x plus 12, then plus 3. Because this was a negative, actually I'll take it on the other side, it becomes a positive. So this simplifies to what? y equals to minus 3 over 2x plus 15 as our final answer. I believe you've learned how to go about this question. And this final equation we have y equals to negative 3 over 2x plus 15. Negative 3 over 2 is the gradient and the 15 is the y-intercept, the point where that line is going to cut the y-axis. We need to move to question number 11. You might be given a question like this. Find, you are told to find the coordinate of A, right? But we are told that line L1 has the equation this, and line L2 has the equation of this. The line L1 and L2 intersect at the point A. Find the coordinate. How do you go about this kind of a question? So that is the question we're going to answer. You can attempt first this question, then you come back to check whether the answer you got is correct. Go ahead. All right, let us work it out. In order to find this, we are given two equations, this one and also this one. So where they intersect is actually the solution of this. So we are going to write this equation the way it is, and also we have y equals to 15 minus 2x. So what we are going to do, any point we have y in the first equation, we are going to replace with this. That's what we are going to replace with, so that we can be able to substitute and then solve for x. I don't know whether you are getting me clearly. Anywhere you have y in the first equation, you are going to substitute this into that, because these two are two simultaneous equations. When we were learning about simultaneous equations, if you plot two simultaneous equations, they are going to intersect. They are going to cross at a given point. That point they are going to cross is their solution. So we can be able to use substitution method in order to work out this. Now, we are going to have 3x into, that is 2 into bracket 15 minus 2 equals to 12. Now, we can be able to open the bracket and put the like terms together, which is going to translate to 3x plus 4x equals to 12 plus 30. Because that was a negative, now once it goes on the other side of the equal sign, it becomes a positive. Now this becomes 7x equals to 42. Divide by 7, divide by 7, our x is 6. So already we have the value of x. Then we can be able to substitute it in the second equation in order to get the value of y. You can be able to use it, you can substitute in either the first equation or the second equation in order to find y. But equation 2, which is y equals to 15 minus 2x, is easier for you to find y there. So we are going to say y equals to 15 minus 2 into bracket 6. So this is going to be 15 minus 2 times 6 is what? 12, right? Yes. So it's going to be y equals to 15 minus 12, and the answer is going to be 3. So the coordinate of A is usually written as x, y. Then our x actually is 6 and y is 3. So the coordinates that we were supposed to write, that one. Yes. Find the equation of a line through A that is perpendicular to L1. A line, the equation of a line which passes through the point A, and our point A is 6, 3. And it's perpendicular to L1. Let's check what our L1 is. What? Our L1 is 3x minus 2y equals to 12. So meaning this equation that is given here is not in the standard format. We can be able to rearrange this as we said, so that we have it in the form y equals to mx plus c. And the gradient of this line now that we are told is 3 over 2, which means we can be able to say m1 times m2 equals to negative 1. And since our gradient that we have obtained there is 3 over 2 times m2 equals to -1. This is going to translate to -2 over 3. That's the gradient of the line that now we are finding its equation. So we are going to say y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1, substituting the gradient and the coordinate points, because already we have the points there. We can be able to simplify this. Let me see. We shall have what? An equation like that, and the equation is here with us, y equals to -2 over 3 x plus 7. Now we can smile and move to the next question, the next topic. Now we are done with questions to do with equations of a straight line, and now it's you to go and look for questions to do with equations of a straight line. Use this concept so that you can develop confidence, build up on how to solve such questions. But the questions that I put together set us for most of the questions that you can find your exams. I would like you to smile a little bit, stretch your hands, rise up, go and pick a cup of cold water, depending where you are. If it's you are in a cold place, take some warm water or hot water. Come back, eat, enjoy for similarity and enlargement. All right, here we are. Similarity and enlargement. We are given that the figure shows triangle ABC. D is a point on the line. AC is a point on the line BC. BA is parallel to DE or ED. Given that BC equals to 10.8, AC equals to 8.1, DE is equals to 3.6. Work out the length of BA in centimeters correct to 1 decimal. So when you are doing such kind of equation, remember we're going to use similarity, and we are going to come up with two triangles. So the first triangle is the one that I've identified here, is the biggest triangle we have here, which is BAC. Then I'm also going to separate the other triangle, DEC. We shall have that small triangle. These two triangles are similar because AB and DE are parallel, and all of them are along the same line BC and AC. So we can be able to identify the lengths that were given here. Because BC we were told it was 10.8, this one is 8.1. Further we were given 3.6, so we are finding this one here. So we are finding BA, which means we are going to let BA to be a known X. We can be able to use a relation BA over a line that is corresponding to BA is DA or ED. BA corresponds to line ED. So if we are started BA, we are going to say over ED equals to, if we started with a bigger triangle, we shall also move to BC over EC, which is 8.1. So we are going to substitute everything that is given here. Then if we multiply both sides by 3.6, we are going to cancel this, and we shall remain with x equals to 10.8 times 3.6 over 8.1. And this is going to translate to what? 4.8 centimeters. 4.8 centimeters as the missing side, and we have to give our answer correct to 1 decimal place. Moving to simultaneous equations involving linear and nonlinear equations. This is another question that is very common in exams. So we are going to use substitution. We are going to substitute what we have in equation 2 into the equation above, then we shall be able to work out one of the unknown. Second equation is this. So whenever we have x, we're going to replace that with this. Substitute this one here anywhere you have x, and this is going to be now 2 into 3y minus 1 squared plus 3y squared equals to 11. So this is going to be 2 into, if we expand this, what are we going to get? Just try it to expand whatever we have here. This is going to translate to, expanding this is going to translate to into 9y squared minus 3y, 6y rather, because if you expand, I've moved 2 steps ahead, so try to expand that, you're going to get into this. So this is going to be 3y squared equals 11. Then we can be able to open the brackets and put the like terms together, and also move 11 from the other side. 11 was a positive, so once it comes on the other side on the equation, it becomes a negative. So this is going to translate to 21y squared minus 12y minus 9 equals to 0. Dividing all through by 3, this is going to reduce to 7y squared minus 4y minus 3 equals to 0. Now we have a quadratic equation, which means we are going to use any of the method, either completing square method or use quadratic formula or factorization in order to solve for y. But we can use factorization. We need two numbers whose product is negative 21. How did we get negative 21? The product is, you obtain it from by multiplying the coefficient of the first term times the coefficient of the last times the last constant, which is negative 3. So 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. So, and the sum is going to be negative 4. Negative 4, I obtained it from there. So how do you get the numbers? So we need to know factors of negative 21. But the one that we'll take are those, if you add them, you get negative 4. Which are the two numbers? 3 and 7. But 7, because 3 times 7 will give us 21. But you see, 3 plus 7 will not give us negative 4. So it means one of the number has to be a negative. And in this case, the larger number should be negative. So that 3 times negative 7 will be negative 21. And 3 plus negative 7 will be negative 4. So we can be able to rewrite the equation 7y squared minus 4y minus 3 equals to 0 using the two terms we have obtained. So it will be 7y squared minus 7y plus 3y minus 3. So if we factorize this by grouping these two, we can be able to factor out what's common. And 7y is common in this first case, and the second case we have 3 common, not just 3. Yeah. Then we can pick these terms which are outside the bracket, 7y plus 3 into y minus 1. Therefore, we can be able to solve for y in each case. So we can say 7y plus 3 equals to 0, or y minus 1 equals to 0, which means from the first part, 7y plus 3 equals to 0. If you take 3 on the other side, it becomes a minus, and divide by 7 both sides to get that answer. And here we are getting y equals to 1, because if you take 1 on the other side, comes a positive. We have two values of y. Then we can be able to go to the second equation here and try to find the value of x. How do we go about it? For us to find the value of x, we are going to substitute the answer we have gotten for y, so that we can be able to work out x. So this becomes our first value of y was 1, so we shall say 3 into 1 minus 1, and our answer is going to be 2 here. The second value of x is going to be what? Obtained from negative 3 over 4, so we are going to say negative 3 over 7, yes, negative 3 over 7 minus 1. If we work out this, we're going to get our answer as negative 16 over 7. I believe you are getting value. You followed through how to go about this question. So it's high time for you to practice. If you practice with more other questions, you remain determined. Practice makes improvement. It doesn't make perfect, it doesn't lead to perfection, but it makes you to improve yourself and the skills in order to solve such kind of determination, and resilience is the key to your success. I wish you the best. If you're watching this particular video as you're approaching your exam, I wish you the best of luck. If you find value here, consider sharing this to your friends and comment this channel to your friends as well. Let's move further to another question. This just a question like the one that we have done before, but if you look at this, you realize you can be able to use the same step. So I would like you to attempt it first so that you can be able to check the answer you will get. Is it the same answer we are going to get down here? Right. All right, I'm just giving you time so that you can finish writing, attempting that question. By so doing, you will be able to check if there is any area you made a mistake. Now let's go ahead so that we can be able to begin that. Have you tried it? Okay, so if you try this question, you need to realize you are to start by rearranging that equation so that it's expressed as y equals to, check whether that's what you got, check if that's what you got. Okay, you have that y minus 2x equals to 1. If you take it on the other side, you get y equals to 2x plus 1. Did you reach there? Okay, now the second, we're going to substitute whatever we have here, 2x plus 1, because that represents y, into the second equation, y squared. Anywhere you have y, you are going to replace with 2x plus 1. So I've highlighted green y in that case so that you can be able to substitute there. Just go ahead, substitute it. Go ahead. Okay, square there, and x into 2x plus 1 equals to 7. Which next step did you follow at this point? Which step did you follow here? All right, you expanded, correct. After expanding, did you get this? And you took 7 on the other side so that you remain with 0 on the right hand side. From here, what next? Yes, putting the like terms together. From here, what next? Solving the quadratic equation. We're going to use just factorization, product and sum. Product is negative 6. Where are we getting negative 6 from? Negative 36 from? All right, yes, negative 36 is coming from 6 times negative 6. And the sum, what will be the sum? What did you say? The middle term? Yes, yes. Term which is 5. So the sum should be 5, which is obtained from here. So which are the two numbers whose product is negative 36 but the sum is 5? Which are the two numbers? 4. And the other one? All right, that's correct. But you have to ensure that the first term should be negative, because negative 4 plus 9 is the one that will give us 5. But negative 4 times 9 is going to give plus 36. Now let us rewrite the middle term using the two numbers that we have obtained, so that we shall have our factorized form of the equation. We shall group 2 and then factor out what is common. Yes, from here, what do we do? Pick what? Pick the outside numbers and form a bracket, and one of the two that are enclosed the bracket. So this is going to be 2x plus 3. The other one, you have said 3x minus 2. Yes, that's correct, which is our equation that we're going to solve and say 2x plus 3 equals 0, or x is going to be negative 3 over 2, and the second part is also going to translate to 2 over 3. And now those are the values of x, the two values of x, which means we can be able to go ahead and find the values of y using that equation. Now we shall substitute the first answer, which is negative 3 over 2, which will enable us to find the value of y. Once we have this, we shall also use the second one in the same way. Substitute 2 over 3 here, and then our answer is going to translate to what? Let's check. 7 over 3. All right, so we need to continue. In circle theorem, there are different properties that you must understand. One of the property of circle theorem is angles subtended by the diameter are always equal to 90 degrees. A diameter subtends a right angle at the circumference. Second property you must understand is angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. You must also understand angles subtended by the same chord are always equal. For instance, actually I need to do a few changes here, because we were told that PRQ is 32 degrees, then this angle here also is going to be 32 degrees because they are subtended by the same chord QP. But if you are told also to find the size of angle RPQ, we can be able to find it. RPQ, if you are told to find, because this is 90 degrees, it's subtended by the diameter. Then if you are told to find this angle, it's going to do what? 90 plus 32 equals to 122, then 180 minus 122 degrees, then this is going to translate to 58 degrees. So this angle is 58 degrees. But in our case, we need to read the question. We are supposed to find what? We are supposed to find the size of angle RQP. This is 90 degrees. Now, RQP actually is an angle subtended by the diameter. So our RQP is 90 degrees because RP is a diameter and it subtends that angle at the circumference. Reason, when you are asked reason in angles, the reason is the property you used in order to arrive to that answer. And our reason is angle or a diameter subtends a right angle 90 degrees at the circumference. Now, in order to find the size of angle PSQ, we have already said this PSQ and QRP are subtended by the same chord, and the chord of interest in this case is going to be QP. So QP is the one that is forming these two angles. All the two angles are originating from QP. So that's why you can see we are saying angle S is also 32 degrees. Yes. Angles subtended by the same chord are always equal. So if you are asked to find 78. The reason maybe that if that question was there, if you were asked to state the reason will be angles in a triangle add up to 180. These are the properties I mentioned when I started. Angle subtended at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. So if this angle is theta, this angle here is going to be 2 theta. So that is one of the property that you must understand. And if questions are asked, questions are going to be around this kind of question. And another one is that if we have an angle here 80 degrees, what will be this angle here? Because you are seeing this twice, this will be 160 degrees. Yes, but also remember, if a line is drawn from there and you have a chord there, that is an isosceles triangle. You can be able to find these base angles, which are usually equal, and these are usually equal. So don't forget such kind of concepts. In question number 15, we are told that A, B, and C are points on a circle, but we are told that N is a tangent to circle, this circle at C, but further we are informed that AB equals to C. Given that BCN, angle BCN is 78 degrees, find the size of angle ABC. But something that is going to be coming out clearly, this angle 78 degrees is in alternate segment to this angle here. So if that is 78, this angle A is also going to be 78 degrees. Then we can see these two lines are actually equal. So we have an isosceles triangle. Then it means that this part is also 78. So we can be able to find the missing angle up there, B. We're going to say angle ABC is going to be 180 minus into bracket 78 plus 78, because we understand that angles in a straight line, or rather angles in a triangle, add up to 180 degrees. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. If you subtract this, we're going to get our answer as 24. So the angle that we were asked here is 24, but the property we use to find this angle CAB is angles in alternate segments are equal, because sometimes we ask questions like that. Linear simultaneous equations. Solve simultaneous equation by elimination. You can also be told to solve by substitution. So the first one, we are going to use elimination method. And how do you go about elimination method? This is 2x plus 9y equals to 14.5. 7x plus 3y equals to 8. How can we go about this? Let me just subdivide this so that we can be able to have enough space. So we can write 2x plus 9y equals to 14.5. 7x plus 3y equals to 8. We can now, you see, for us to make x the same, so that we eliminate x, you check the coefficient of x in the second bracket, the second equation, multiply it at the top, and the coefficient of the coefficient of x in the first equation, you multiply in the second. And remember to include the brackets like that, so that you are going to multiply that 7 to all the terms. If you forget to do that, there's going to be a big problem. So once we multiply what's in the bracket and then subtract the two equations, we are going to remain with 57y equals to, this is going to be 85.5. Then for us to get y, we are going to divide both sides by 57, and our y is going to translate to 1.5. This is our y. We have y. But for us to find x, we are going to substitute the answer we have in the first equation. You can use any of the equation, So let us use the first equation here. Anywhere you have y, you are going to replace that with 1.5, and then we're going to remain with 2x plus 13.5. You take it on the other side, it's going to be 2x equals to 14.5 minus 13.5, which is going to translate to 1, and 1, let me just get some space here before we continue to the equation. Our answer is going to be 0.5. Now we can move down here for substitution method. So we have 5x plus y equals to 17. So I can be able to rearrange this. I'll take this on the other side. I remain with y equals to 17 minus 5x. And this can be used in this equation. So we're going to say x plus 17 minus 5x equals to 3. What I've just done, because in the second equation we have x plus y equals to 3, but instead of writing y, I'm going to replace that with 17 minus 5, because we said we are using substitution. Put the like terms together and we shall have negative 4x equals to negative 14. Divide by negative 4 both sides. If you simplify this further, you're going to get a 3.5 as our value of x. Then once we have the value of x, we can be able to substitute it in this equation, y equals to 17 minus 5x, so that we can be able to actually get the value of y. So let's go ahead and do that. Simplifying this further, we're going to get 0.5 as our final answer. I believe we have done most questions to do with solving simultaneous equations, solving linear equations, also those that involve linear and quadratic, or linear and non-linear. So you have no reason as to why you should be getting this question wrong, because the moment you master the skill of solving this question, you will be moving towards improving your grade. Determination, hard work, and resilience will enable you to perform well. Let's move to the next question. We are moving to the next topic. The next common topic is the topic on vectors. How do you solve such kind of questions? I'm going to give you a detailed steps to follow in order to approach this question. I want you to follow keenly so that you get to understand the epicenter, the main thing that you need to know on how to deal with vectors. There's this first section whereby you are told to find in terms of A and B vector AN. But let us see the details here. OMA, ONB, and MPB and NPA are straight lines. M is the midpoint of OA. If you are told M is the midpoint of OA, it means it's dividing OA into two equal halves. So meaning if OA is vector A, then MA is also vector A. That's what you have to remember. And ON ratio NB is 1:5. So meaning ON is B, then NB going to be 5B. I don't know whether you're getting me. We are given the ratio of ON ratio NB, but ON is B. Since we are given the ratio 1:5, it means also that NB is going to be 5, but the entire length, it's going to be 5A rather, but the entire length OB is going to be 6 vector B. You are going to understand it better once we start working it out. Find in terms of A and B vector AN. So we have just identified that this is 1 to 1, so meaning this is also A. This is 1 to 5, so this is 1 and this one is 5. So meaning this part here we can be able to say AN. which route are you going to use for you to move from A at the top there to N? So you are going to move from A to O, then O to N. So AN is usually A to O plus ON. But AO is against the arrow. So we are going to have negative 2A because we are going against the arrow. You have to assign it a negative. Then we shall rewrite this as B minus 2A as the expression for that. Use vector method to find ratio AP to PN. Now, the way to approach this question is to express OP in two different ways. Once we do that, then we solve. We'll be able to get that ratio. Work with me in order to understand. So we are going to find OP in two different ways. One of the way we shall use for OP, we are going to express OP in two different ways. OP is going to be what? We are going to use this root. We can use that root OA. We move from O to A, then A to P. We can now say let the ratio that divide, we are going to say let B divide AN in the ratio of K, and P divide MB as N there. I've just used those so that when we solve for N and K, we'll be in a position of finding the ratio that we are told here. So we are going to say therefore this is going to be OA. What is AP? AP is going to be K of AN. Going to be K of AN. Because AP can be written as K of AN. K is a constant which we're going to solve. But we have already found AN, which is B minus 2A. So our OA is 2 vector A plus K into B minus 2A. We can be able to put the like terms together here. Let me just get some space here. So if I factor out in the first two terms, I factor out A, we're going to remain with 2 into 2K vector A plus K vector B. So this is one of the equation, one way to express OP. We are going to find also the second way. This is going to be our equation. The second way, we're going to use this root like that. We are going to move from O to M, then M to P. Now, we are going to say therefore again, OP is OM plus MP. But we have our OM. MP is N MB plus N MB, because MB is the entire section. So to get MP, we are going to take N times the entire length of MB. MB, we can be able to find it because for you to find to move from M to B, we need to move from M to O plus O to B. We shall use that route like that. M to O is negative A plus 6B. The entire length here is 6B. So this is going to be written like that, which can be expressed in that manner. I need space so I can compress a little bit. And then now OP is going to be OM, which is vector A plus MN. And our MN is going to be N times the MB that we have obtained. These two terms which are having A can be simplified too. By factoring A out, we are going to have 1 minus N vector A plus 6N vector B. we have this as our equation 2. And if we look at these two equations, because they are expressing the same thing, and this is also OP, then we can now say this part and these are equal. We can say that, and the k equals to 6n. By saying that, we can be able to have, but we have already said that 2 minus 2k equals to 1 minus n. From the second part, we have said k equals to 6n. So anywhere we have k, we are going to replace with 6n. And this is going to translate to 2 minus 2 into 6n. And eventually we have an equation we can solve. We put the like terms together. And divide by 11 both sides. Our n is going to be 1 over 11. Now, if we are getting our n is 1 over 11, we can as well find the value of k, which is going to be 6 over 11. How do we use this in order to get the ratio? Let's go back to the diagram. We have said our k is 6 over 11. Our k is 6 over 11. What do you need to add in order to get 11 to 6? It's 5. So below here, it must be 5. So that as a fraction, this can be 6 over 11 and 5 over 11. So our ratio is going to be 6 is to 5. 6 is to 5. That's the ratio we were supposed to have there. The next topic of interest is sequences, arithmetic sequence. How do you approach question like that? How do you do question in sequence? This is another topic that is very common and most of the students really don't like it, but I'm going to take you step by step so that you don't experience any problem in any question in future. If you pay attention closely to the questions that we're going to do in this section, you'll find that more of the same, all the questions will be given will be just a repetition of what we are going to discuss here. And please, if you are new, if you have not subscribed, subscribe now. That's the best that you can give. That's the price you can pay for this tutorial that I've prepared. It will enable you to understand arithmetic sequences. Here are the first 5 terms of a sequence. Write down the next 2 terms of a sequence. For you to write the next 2, actually, what do you need to know? You need to understand the pattern that is that is being followed here. You are moving from 3 to 10. What have you done to it? From 10 to 17, what is done to it? You can see from 3 to 10, we have added something. We have added 7. We have added 7. We have added 7. So what will prevent us from adding 7 here? And 7 plus 21, rather that 1 plus 7 is going to translate to what? It's going to translate to 38. What will prevent us from adding 7 here? Because that is the pattern. And then that 8 plus 7 will be 45. Yes. So these are the next 2 terms that you were asked. So if you are given a question like this, just crush it. Yeah. Find the expression of an nth term of a sequence. Very simple question. Nth term. First, understand nth term of any arithmetic sequence is usually given by a plus n minus 1 into d. But d is the common difference and a is the first term. In our case here, our common difference is plus 7. And the first term is a, our first term. So we are going to say 3 plus n minus 1 into 7. But we are finding expression. We are finding the expression. We are finding the expression for the nth term. So n to remain the way it is. Open the brackets. Simplify. Put the like terms together. And then we shall have our expression as 7n minus 7 plus 3, which is going to translate to 7n minus 4. This now the general expression that can enable you find. So if you are told to find any term, this is the expression 7n minus 4 usually. If you are told find term 100, it means n in that case is 100. So it will be 7 times 100, which is going to be 700 minus 4. You are going to get 696. Okay, if you do not understand that, let's go down here in part C. An expression for the nth term of another sequence is a different sequence, is 10 minus n power 3. Find the first 3 terms of this. So here we are given a general equation and then a general expression, and then we are supposed to generate the sequence, the first 3 terms. Okay. Something that you need to remember is that the first term is when n is 1. The second term is when n is 2. The third term is when n is 3. Then you are supposed to substitute those values of n to the given expression in order to find and list the 3 terms. In my own language, we can say nth term equals to 10 minus n cubed. First term, n equals to 1. Substituting it here, we are going to have 10 minus 1. And this is going to be 9. Second term, n is 2. Substituting it here to be 10 minus 8, because 2 cubed is 8. Don't make that common mistake. 2 cubed. Most of the time students make this funny mistake. 2 cubed is 6. Who told you? 2 cubed means 3 times, 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 is multiplied 3 times. So 2 times 2, 4 times 2 again. Alright, so 10 minus 8 is going to be 2. So the second term is 2. This is which type of sequence? A decreasing one. Yes, a decreasing one. Right. We need to move also to the third term. Third term, n is what? N is 3. Substituting here. N cubed is what? You want to make that same mistake? Yes, the answer is 27. So it's 10 minus 27, which is going to translate. So our answer is going to be negative 17. So the 3 terms are 9, 2, and negative 17. All right, moving further, let's check another question, possible question that you can ask as far as sequence is concerned. This is another interesting question. The sum of the first 80 terms of an arithmetic series is 470. The 75th term of P is 14.5. The sum of the first m terms of P is 170. Actually, I did some changes. I did some changes in this question, so let me just take it further. Yeah, now this is the revised form, the revised format of that question. It was having some mistakes, so I did some changes in the question so that it can let me see. I think it's not this one. After the revised format, I need to check the revised format. Yeah, this is the revised format. The sum of the first 10 terms of an arithmetic series P is 240. The sum of the first 10 terms of an arithmetic series P is 240. The 20th term of P is 82. The 20th term of P is 82. The sum of the first m terms of P is 576. Work out the value of m and show you are working clearly. I started by identifying the most important formulae you'll use when solving this question. If you know these two formulas, then it means you are going to solve this. That was my maths teacher who used to say that. If you know these two formulas, then there is no question in the universe of sequence arithmetic series you cannot solve. The first equation is nth term equal to e plus into bracket n minus 1 into d, and we say that a is the first term, n is the number of the term, d is the common difference. The sum of a given number of terms is given by the formula n over 2 into bracket 2a plus n minus 1 into d. These two formulas are important. When you are finding the nth term, you use the first one. When you are finding the sum of terms in a sequence, you use the second. So let me reiterate and say, if you understand how to use these two formulas, there is no question in the universe of sequence and series you cannot be able to solve. Let's dive right in using the second equation, because in the second part we are told the sum of the first 10 terms is 240. So we are using the second equation. So we are going to say 10, because we are told sum of 10 terms, n is going to be 10 into 2a. We don't know the first term, so let us start by saying let the first term be a, common difference be d. We don't know those, we are going to look for them. So we shall start by using this formula and say now 10 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d equals to 240. We can simplify this further, and in this case here is 10. Yeah, it's 10 into d. 10 minus 1 into d equals to 240. Because if you are told 10 terms, it means n is 10. That's why. Then we can now simplify this, and because 10 minus 1 is 9 times d, it's going to be 9d, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we shall have that. We can even divide by 5 both sides, and we shall remain with 2a plus 9d equals to, this is what? This is going to give us, let us use our calculator, as 48. This is our equation 1. We are going to form the second equation from this information provided here. The 20th term of P is 82. So meaning we are going to use the first equation, nth term. Let us find that nth term equals to 82. So our case, n is going to be 20 because we're told the 20th term. So our a is always unknown. So we're going to say a plus 19d equals to 82. And this becomes our second equation. So you are going to solve these two simultaneous equations, equation 1 and equation 2, in order to find the value of a and b. Let's go ahead. and this is going to be what? We can take this 19D on the other side. I'm planning to use substitution. Using substitution, I can be able to substitute what we have into equation 1. And we have now, we are going to put the like terms together. So this 164 minus, if I subtract negative 38D plus 9D is going to translate to 29D. I've decided to take negative 29D on the other side of the equal sign and bring 48 to the left, so that we have 164 minus 48 equals 29D. Then this is going to translate to 116 divided by 29, 29. Our D is going to be 4. Our D is 4. Let me just confirm. This is 116 divided by 29 is actually 4. Now, once we have D, which is the common difference, we can use this particular part. Let me just find space. We can be able to use this part here, A equals to 82 minus 19D, and substitute the exact value of D, which is 4, in order for us to find our A, and that's going to be 6. So we have common difference as 4 and the first term as 6. What was the find the sum? We are told the sum of the first m terms is 276. So we're supposed to find m. How do we find sum, by the way? Sum is usually given by that general equation, and the number of terms is actually m. So we are going to say our sum is 276. Our n in this case is m. D is 4 and our A is 6. We can now substitute into the equation so that we can be able to get m over 2 times A. Our A, we got it as 6, right? Yes. M minus 1 into D. Our D is 4, equals to 576. We can now simplify this further. We can multiply by 2 both sides to get rid of that 2 there. Simplify what's inside the bracket, and then we can multiply all through by m, and our answer becomes 4m squared plus 8m equals to 1152. Divide by 4 both sides. Our m is going to translate to m squared plus 2m equals to 288. We are going to take 288 on this other side of the equal sign so that we can be able to solve that quadratic equation. Using quadratic formula, we can identify our A as 1 and our B as 2, our C as negative 288. Therefore, the quadratic equation becomes m equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2 times A. Our A, we have said, is 1, our m, our B is 2, and our C is negative 288. We can be able to substitute all that we have into the quadratic formula so that we solve for m. And we know that m is going to be a positive number. There's no way we are going to have actually our m being negative, because we are finding the number of terms. Number of terms are going to be positive. When you solve a quadratic equation, you will get 2 answers. So in that case, we don't expect to take the negative part of our answer. So if you have negative 2 plus all minus 34, we are going to take only plus 34, divide by 2, and our answer is going to translate to what? 16. So m equals to 16, and we have said we are taking positive since all the terms, number of terms cannot be negative. Question number 20 is another format of a question you can be asked, and I've decided to give it to you so that you can be able to attempt. Just try it first and check if you're gonna get the same answer. The sum of the, here are the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence, p, 7p minus 3. These are the middle one is an expression, 7p minus 3, and the third term is p, 4p plus 2. The sum of the first n terms of the sequence is negative 1914, which is negative 1914. Work out the value of n. Show you are working clearly. Now, the expression, the terms, the three terms given are actually 8p, 7p minus 3, 4p plus 2. So for you to find a common difference, you are going to subtract 7p minus 3 minus 8p. Common difference is obtained by subtracting the next number, a number minus the number before it. That's how we usually get the common difference. And in this case, our number before 7p minus 3 is 8p. So we are going to subtract this and try to simplify. This is going to be negative 3 minus, rather negative p minus 3. Also, we can be able to find this common difference by subtracting 4p plus 2 minus the number before it, which is 7p minus 3. This is going to be what? If we subtract, we're going to get negative 3p plus 5. So these two represent the common difference. So we can be able to say both of them should be equal. Therefore, we are going to equate them like that and solve for p. Our p is going to be 4. This is the value of p. We can be able to substitute it in the terms that are given there so that we know the exact terms. Yeah. So 8 times 4 is 32. That's the first term. Second term will be 7p. But 7 times 4 will be 28 minus 3, which is going to be actually 25. Huh? Yeah, this is going to be 25. This is 4p plus 2. 4p, right? So 4 times 4, 16 plus 2, this will be 18. So these were the first three terms of this sequence. From here, we can see the common difference is going to be 25 minus 32 is 25 minus 32. Yes, this is going to be, this is about two terms. What do you do in order to get to move from 32 to 25? Yeah, negative 7, negative 7. So meaning 32 minus 7 will be 25. 25 minus 7 will give us 18. So the common difference is negative 7. And the first term is 32. Okay. We are supposed to find the value of n, so we are going to use the sum of n terms is given by that general equation. So we don't know n, so we are going to substitute with the first term, which is 2a, and our a is actually 32, so it's 2 times 32, n minus 1, and our common difference is negative 7. So we can open the bracket and say that is equal to negative 1914. We can simplify this expression that we have, and if you can see keenly, this is going to lead to a quadratic equation. Yeah, if you look at it, it's actually leading to a quadratic equation. So we can be able to take this negative 3828 on the other side of the equal sign, and this is going to translate what? Let me get some space. Huh? This was actually what I've done. I've taken these numbers which are on the left hand side, that is negative 71n and the negative 7n squared. I've taken them on the other side so that we have 7n squared a positive. So we have taken these numbers on the other side so that we have 7n squared positive. So we can be able to find the value of n by substituting this into a quadratic formula. If you simplify this, what are we going to get? This is going to translate to 71 plus or minus square root of that number that we have here. It's so big. I actually have taken about 1 hour 28 minutes 38 seconds to reach here. So just bear with me, that number, find the square root of that so that we can be able to find the value of n. So the square root of that number that we have there is 335. So we are going to take the positive value because there's no way the number of a term can be a negative. So we're going to take the positive value. So it will be 71 plus 335 divided by 14. If you work out this, we are going to get our answer as 29. This was 29, the sum of 29 terms, the one that gave us negative 1914. All right. So also this is actually a decreasing sequence. Whenever you have common difference in negative number, it means decreasing sequence. We have come to the end of this section. Take and watch out for the next episode that will introduce more concept that you ought to know. Remember to subscribe. Remember to leave a comment if there was a section you really felt that you are able to learn how to work.